that the recording has begun. Perfect. And yeah, as I was saying, we are having a discussion here today on how through leadership we can help build competence and confidence for teachers for the use of AI in education. So I would like to give a little bit of time to each of the speakers to introduce themselves. But first, if I could have our audience in person wave hello to the speakers and the audience online. So at 3, everybody say hello. Perfect. So very enthusiastic audience here ready for the discussion. So perhaps we begin with our speakers online, and I would like to give the floor to Professor Dr. Matthew Montebello from the University of Malta to introduce himself briefly. So Matthew, please, the floor is yours.
Hello, welcome everybody. I'm pleased to be here and very honored to be part of this panel. I'm head of department within the AI department at the Faculty of ICT in the University of Malta, right in the middle of the Mediterranean. My background is an educator. I used to teach in secondary schools and government schools. And then I pursued my studies in the States and in UK, finished my PhD in computer science, and came back to Malta lecturing in computer science. Eventually, halfway through, I went through another doctorate in education at the University of Sheffield, so I could be able to combine my primary love, basically the love of education, with computer science, and eventually work on research that involves the use of AI applied to education, specifically to higher education. Obviously, over the years, we've developed virtual learning systems, learning agents, pedagogical instruments, learner profiling, and all that. But obviously, 2022 came around with generative AI, which actually we were working on as well as a university, and it changed completely the way we look at education. So that's what I'm doing currently as well, and obviously applying technology, not just generative AI and AI, but technology to education. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Matthew. And I would like to give the floor now to Professor Dr. Jose Luis Gonzalez from the University of Castilla-La Mancha to briefly introduce himself.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm also very pleased to be here. Thanks to contact me. And as you said, I am from España, from Spain, Castilla-La Mancha, in the middle of the territory near to Madrid. If you have known the land of the Quixote, that's where I am more or less around. And my background is about education. I did my PhD regarding the European higher education area. At that point, I thought that I wasn't going to lead another great movement like the Bologna process. But now at this point, with the artificial intelligence, I must confess that I'm quite excited to see another huge improvement in higher education. At this point, I am leading a group of innovation in artificial intelligence regarding education. But I also must confess that I am a newbie. I don't have background before the democratization of ChatGPT. When ChatGPT bumped into everyone's life, we realized that we have to do something, and since then we have been making an effort above all to form all types of teachers, from university teachers, secondary, primary teachers, and even religion teachers. It was a quite interesting workshop we made with improvement of the church, and it was quite interesting to see. And even religion teachers were interested in how they can use artificial intelligence. At this point, we are conducting a project trying to see how we can apply artificial intelligence in our classes, and we are just almost finishing it. So we have to review all what we have done, and we will have some quite good results, I think, in 1 or 2 months.
Thank you very much, Jose Luis. For whatever reason, yes, I think we have some echo from your side, Jose Luis. If you could mute yourself, Well, you're not speaking. Perfect. I think we have one of the speakers on the chat trying to activate his video. So Axel is on it. Professor Hoover, don't worry, you will be up in a second. And in the meantime, I will give the floor to Helen Legend from the ENACO Business School to briefly introduce herself as well.
Thank you. Thank you for welcoming us today. And hello to everyone. Can you hear me? That's okay?
We can use this microphone. Yeah.
Thank you. Much better. Thank you. So my name is Hélène Lejeune. I represent today the Federation for European Education as a member of the Management Committee. And I am also the founder and the CEO of ENACO. ENACO is the first full online business school in France today. I founded it in 2006 with the idea to get a study accessible to most people who want to get and to go into business school. So that was the idea. That's why this digital learning today, I think it's a very good tool for this mission. And I'm glad to represent my federation first and ENACO today to talk about artificial intelligence, because we work very hard on it at ENACO for many years. We own our own learning management system, and we have integrated artificial intelligence inside. So I will try to tell you what we do and how we can give some announcements about artificial intelligence and teachers.
Hello. Thank you, Silvia, for having us here. Thank you, Palladium School, to Panayotis for organizing this amazing experience and to showcase the AI, how it's used in school. I'm Yola Kepi, the Executive Director of Center for School Leadership in Albania. It is an independent body established as a result of Albanian American Development Foundation and the Ministry of Education and Sports. Our primary goal is to provide professional leadership program for all principals, aspiring principal in the pre-university education in Albania. So we're mainly certifying, having this prestigious program on leadership and management of pre-university education, which is mandatory in Albania. So I'm happy to share here some insight how the Center for School Leadership harnessed AI in a way of improving education, learning, and teaching. So thank you.
Thank you very much. And I see that we haven't managed yet to put Stefan up in the screen. So sorry for that, Professor Hoover. We will begin, and hopefully you will be able to join us through the discussion. And I would like to begin this roundtable session by asking Professor Montebello, actually Matthew, that he allowed me to call him by his first name, as an academic specialized in educational technology first, before having a conversation on how to support teachers. I think it's important that we agree on what are the knowledge and the skills that these teachers and these school leaders should prioritize, because obviously the lack of confidence, it's very related to the training that they receive. So I wanted to begin with Matthew, but then give the chance to all of the panelists here to react as well. So please, Matthew, the floor is yours.
So thank you for that. Yes, if I had to prioritize, especially thinking about AI, there are loads of things, but definitely if I had to summarize them in let's say the top three, I think first of all is the teacher training we all have initially. I think teacher training and learning about pedagogy and learning about sociology and philosophy of education, I think is a very important aspect that every educator should have. Having said that, not all educators, not all lecturers at our university included, have been trained as teachers, unfortunately. And getting a PhD doesn't make you a good teacher at all. Having said that, yes, my top priority would be, actually from the top three, AI would feature the third, like any technology. So as an educator, I think I would focus my fluency on pedagogy. Even this morning I had a class, I want to teach something to my students, and I have to decide how to pass on the material. Should I use a recording? Should I use a presentation? Should I use a comic strip? So even the teaching aids I'm going to use, even though I'm going to use technology, comes second. So my first thought is, what is the best way to communicate with my students? Communication is key, irrelevant of AI or any technology. AI is there to enhance learning, like any tool we use, whether it is a projector, whether it is a YouTube video, whether it is a whiteboard, an intelligent whiteboard, whatever it is. I think as an educator, my first thought should be, how can I critically involve the students to think? How can I increase their creativity and problem-solving skills? See, I've never mentioned AI through all this or the technology I'll be using. So for sure, that's the first most important goal. So as an educator, and educators out there listening to me, trust your training. You've been trained as educators, and the tools and the technologies and the teaching aids, what we call teaching, are there to assist you, are there to make your life easier. If it is a single marker that I need to use during my lecture, so be it. This is a teaching aid, like the best AI out there. Second thing we need to keep in mind as educators are ethical issues and responsible use of the technology, responsible use of the AI. So I would highly promote academic integrity, especially with people using generative AI at this point, rather than just copying and pasting material and content. They need to pay attention that they know the content they will be passing on to their students. So in an ethical way, I need to transmit this to my own students. I tend to teach, obviously, higher education. And when I get my PhD students and the master students, it's the first hour was just speaking about academic integrity and how they need to focus on that. Especially if they're looking at using AI, issues of bias come into play, and fairness. So when using an AI system, even as an educator, I need to address bias and fairness in these systems. I need to help students understand what the limitations of AI are, because AI is a system developed by humans, and it has its limitations, and potentially it can impact society, and it can impact the students. And finally, the third one will be, yes, now it's time to focus on AI. I spoke about pedagogy, I spoke about ethics, now it's AI. How can I use AI? How can I prepare my students to use AI? And if I had to train teachers, which we do train teachers as well, I want to teach my student teachers how AI works, how you can benefit from it, of its risks, for example, misinformation or data privacy issues. So definitely, I want to use AI like any other tool which assists me, like a co-assistance, like a co-pilot for learning. So I want to use the tools to assist you, to help you teach, and to help you learn. AI can be very helpful. Obviously, the work I do at this point, we use AI to personalize the teaching process, because every individual, to my mind, and I'm sure it's very much accepted, every individual student has different needs. So why not use technology to help us personalize the delivery, the pedagogy as well, without over relying on AI. We shouldn't be dependent on a technology, like somebody depending on a PowerPoint presentation, and if the laptop is not working, then they cannot teach, so it's not on. If I switch off my laptop, I can still continue with my teaching process. So the technology will help me. Without the technology, I will move on. I think
Yes.
that's
Thank you very much, Matthew. And you touched upon some points there that I really want to follow up on. So I will shoot the next question. And I think we have here very expert speakers that work very closely with teachers and with school leaders themselves. And I wanted to ask you, with this training that indeed the teachers receive. So here from the two universities that we have, we know that they organize workshops and trainings. And we're discussing here the confidence that teachers have for the use of AI. So I wanted to follow up perhaps with Jose Luis there that works in the Faculty of Education. What is your perception that is the biggest struggle for teachers and school leaders in the implementation of AI? So what are the areas, or what is this lack of where is this lack of confidence coming from?
Yeah, thank you very much. And thank you, Matthew. We share a lot of common ground indeed, because I agree with all you have said. So I will try not to repeat, but maybe to um, stress some of the points you mentioned. Above all, that training that we need to do, not now, but yesterday. We cannot stop regarding artificial intelligence in education. We have to move all the time like a shark in the water, because everything is moving too fast. A week or even a month in artificial intelligence is like a year for maybe other fields. So we cannot stop to see what is new, how can we use it, and also how can we teach our teacher and students to make them aware of everything. And when I say everything, I would like to divide into two groups. I will try to divide artificial intelligence in education in two parts. First is teaching and learning with artificial intelligence, like a copilot, like an assistant, but also teaching and learning about artificial intelligence, as Matthew also mentioned. And I would like also to prioritize that part. It's about talking about the technological dimension of artificial intelligence. We need to know how it works up to a point. We are not engineers, we are not developers, we are educators, but we have to know how those algorithms work regarding, above all, artificial intelligence, generative artificial intelligence, and large language models like ChatGPT, because sometimes we reduce all the field of artificial intelligence into ChatGPT. But also knowing, for example, that it's a black box and the decision and the prediction we make cannot be traced back. Again, even the developers cannot explain properly how it really works. They work, but how they really work, we don't know. How they make those bias, we don't know. But we have to know that we don't know how they work, because in that way we will be aware when we trust them and not over rely our confidence in the results they made, that Matthew mentioned. But also we have to be reminded the human dimension, the impact of the artificial intelligence in our life, in order to stress our human needs. Let me explain. If we can remember how we traveled before Google Maps, maybe we can remember our fathers or grandfathers, depending on your age, looking at the map in the car, tracing the route, and when you arrive to a town or a place, asking people, and then following the direction given by people. But now at this point, we cannot orientate anymore. We only follow Google Maps rules. If it says go straight, you are going to go straight. If it says go right, you are going to turn at that point. So our orientation is a little bit rusty. So maybe with the artificial intelligence, if we over rely on the results, we are going to get our creativity a little bit rusty too. The blank page syndrome is gone. If you don't know where to start, the AI will give it to you, a good starting point. But maybe you're going to lose the necessity, the need to start to think about the possibilities that maybe you're going to follow or not. But you are at the control house, you are the control panel. But if you rely maybe too much on this model, you are going to lose yourself, and you are going to get a little bit lazy from that point of view. And similarly, like Google Maps made with our orientation characteristics. So if we focus now on that teaching and learning about AI literacy, the technological dimension and the human dimension, maybe we can make a good common ground to increase the confidence of our partners, our teacher, our students, and above that, we can make them more competent. So if I have to prioritize, I would prioritize confidence for competence. And I would also like to say just briefly something more about teacher and student. Our teachers are very concerned about this. We all know that. So our students are not so much concerned. They are going to use it for sure, 100%. We are thinking and rethinking if we use it, in which cases we use it, and with which purpose we use it. But our students are going to use it nevertheless. Why? But they will use it in a bad way. I mean, a month ago, I bumped into a corridor with a bunch of students who were working in a desk, and one of them say, "Let's ask that to ChatGPT." And I ran into there and I say, "Hey, who is using ChatGPT?" No one. They say, "Okay, I'm not going to arrest you. I only want to know how are you using it." And I asked for the prompt, and they say, "What's the prompt?" They even really don't know what the prompt was. I also say, go up, and let me see how you ask the model what you want. And they wanted to make an essay about a book. I think the book is over here because I don't know the exact name in English. It's The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas, el chico de pijama de rayas, el niño de pijama de rayas. And they asked that essay like boy striped pajamas essay. And that's not a formula for LLM. That's a formula for Google. Because we are so used to use that engine, but Google is the best. So now they have to learn also how to use it. So don't worry, they will do it very quickly, quicker than any teacher. But at this point, I think that two-level speed, we are aware, teachers, we are aware that we need training, and that other speed of the students, they are a little bit lazy about that, make us to have a little bit hinge in which way we can still at this point be at the top or at the lead of this process. So I think our students will have to teach how to learn, how to use it, but they are not really interested in that at this point.
Yeah, thank you, Jose Luis. Definitely AI literacy, not only for teachers, but also for students, very important. And I think we have here a perfect example of a institution, the first online business school in France, of how yeah, AI can be integrated in the school, and then also what impact does it have in the staff and in the students as well. So I would like to ask Helen to give us a little bit of an overview of how it was the process in ENACO.
Thank you. Yes, I'm very interested in what you said, because I really agree about the point. Teachers training is the main issue today, and we have to help them to go ahead and understand what we want to do. So what we can see is that today teachers need to acquire, deepen, create, and to take the UNESCO recommendations about artificial intelligence, and it is what we try to do today. So we have trained our own teachers to use artificial intelligence, but it's true that we were helped because we work on digital learning for many years, so they are used to take new tools and use them usually. I'm convinced that the three pillars of education, especially digital learning, are a technical pillar with learning management system, an organizational pillar, and a pedagogical pillar. The first one, we have created our own learning management system, so it was very easy to integrate artificial intelligence inside. We we have signed a partnership with OpenAI to do that. So it's very helpful because we can share experiences with them. And I had the chance to share experience with American universities, and it's very interesting to see what happened outside our school and take some inspiration. The second pillar is organization. We don't talk a lot about organization in digital learning or schools in general, but I have made the choice. It is quite original to get the quality certification ISO 9001. So it's not so common in universities and schools, but it's very helpful to be strong about processes and what we want to do for getting our students get their diplomas and acquire skills. The third one is pedagogical contents. Strong contents are still very important, and artificial intelligence won't replace it. It was interesting to see how Palladio School use it with their younger children than the students I follow up. But they all say that it's just a tool and something they use every day to learn, to debate, and to acquire skills. So the question is how we manage this in time of artificial intelligence. So we have trained our teachers. We have begun to launch some debates inside the school to see how we want to use it. And of course, we have already artificial intelligence tools inside the LMS system. So artificial intelligence to me is a powerful tool, but need to big improvement and lifelong learning for teachers. It's much more important today than before. And we didn't talk a lot about the role of pedagogical engineers, but I think their role is really major. For instance, at ENACO, we have a strong team with engineers to help teachers to integrate these new tools and mostly use them day by day. So, it's not finished. In fact, we just start this big revolution.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Helen. And once again, we're talking here about building competence, but also confidence for the teachers. And I think that this is a very important role that the school leaders have, or leadership in general. So I would like to move on now to this area with the Center of School Leadership from Albania that we have here, but also a very renowned expert on educational leadership, Professor Huber, that we managed to see now on the screen. So we will begin with Jola, if that's okay. And I wanted to ask from the Center of School Leadership perspective, that you are working at a national level in Albania with all of the school leaders there. What is your role in supporting this implementation of AI and the training of teachers? So from the school leaders' perspective, how do you help school leaders support teachers?
Thank you, Sylvia. At the Center for School Leadership, we recognize the integrating AI in education is both an opportunity, but also is a challenge for teachers. Our current program is being revised, and the main revision will be on artificial intelligence and how to prepare leaders, how to understand, and how to encourage teachers how to use AI in the education system. To foster this environment from the leadership point of view, where they empower the teachers and not to fear to use the AI, the school leadership must focus on 3 key areas. First is cultivating a growth mindset. in the schools. So they should emphasize the AI is a tool for enhancing learning and not for replacing teachers. Mistakes should be seen as learning opportunities, and experimentation should be encouraged through reflective discussions, as well as creating a culture of trust where teachers feel supported rather than judged. This is providing structured support and professional development for teachers. So schools should offer ongoing training on AI applications in education, peer learning communities, and AI experimentation. Labs can help teachers share experience and best practices, as well as clear and ethical use and guidance policy should be in place to ensure safe response of AI use. And the third pillar is encouraging collaborative innovation that everybody is talking through allocate dedicated time for teachers to explore AI in their classrooms, encouraging interdisciplinary projects and integrate AI into different subjects that can foster creativity, as well as schools should celebrate AI-driven initiatives showcasing successful experiments and learning like we do with our projects. Like every principal before getting graduated has to present an implementable project. So we try to showcase this best project and practices to the rest of the principals. So thank you.
Thank you, Yola. And Helen wants to react, so we will give her the floor first.
Congratulations, because we're in advance compared to many schools, so it's a very good initiative for teachers. Okay. Okay. So, and I just wanted to add also that we can use also artificial intelligence to create brand new trainings for students or children. So it's interesting to see how you use it with your teachers, because they can be helpful to launch new programs. And do you think it helps them to go ahead quickly to bring new programs and new trainings for your students?
As I said before, that we provide leadership program only for principal, deputy principals. So we're not providing any national curricula for the wider spread use of teachers and students. But what we do in our center, we use it massively from the time of the application. So we have a platform, AI platform. They apply there. We set up evaluation committees that are composed of the ministry and the Center for School Leadership. We revise documents, and then we start the program. We split classes according to the regions where they do the training, the mentorship program, the coaching. So it has to start from ourselves. So we have tested it, and we are also revising the modules respective regarding the AI use and technology in education.
Thank you. And I wanted to give the floor also to Professor Huber here. And I know I've been told that he's currently involved in a project for supporting actually school leaders and implementing AI in educational institutions. And I'm particularly curious because we have been discussing here as well that AI implementation in institutions is usually, let's say, isolated to the personal choice of the teachers. It's not a institution-wide implementation plan. And so here we're hearing here from the Center of School Leadership in Albania, their pillars and what they do. But we wanted to hear as well from you, Professor Huber, what is your experience or what is your what are your findings from the research that you are doing on how school leaders, what role do they play now in this AI implementation, which entails as well the ensuring training for the teacher, so indeed building competence and confidence. So the floor is yours, Professor Huber.
Yeah, thank you very much. Can you hear me? Is it possible for the audio? Thank you so much for the feedback.
Yes,
Yeah.
we hear you.
the different pieces of work we are doing in digitality and the technology integration shows a huge variation, not only within schools, but across schools, across different countries. And there are many reasons for that. And, you know, you mentioned confidence. I would say you need competences, you need motivation, which is part of the confidence. And I think even this interacts. You know, you're not motivated to develop competences if you don't see the point or if there's too much strain. We are following in a mixed method longitudinal study 400 schools which are really experience a lot of strain because of many changes, but also lack of teachers. So we have staff shortage, and then they say, digitality or AI, another thing on top of it, and we want to have inclusion and other topics. So it's regarded as a burden, not as a solution. So there's very much about the sense making, about the conceptualization. I liked very much what Matthew said at the beginning, because we have to see that if we talk about digitality or about artificial intelligence in particular, we have actually many perspectives on that. One is that we can think about education with that digitality, or that we can think about how can we improve learning processes, how can we improve education. Also what Jose pointed out, like the bigger picture on artificial intelligence. But you can also think about how to organize a school, what you do with staff shortages. There are different possibilities to make your life a bit easier using AI, particularly in management and in leadership. So I think there are two perspectives. One is education about digitality with all the enlightenment. So as Jose pointed out, but it's also education with digitality to make it more personalized, more efficient, more learning flow. So I think there are many many opportunities, as Matthew pointed out, and we see that too. But there are also some constraints, bias, or people argue in schools, we cannot do that at all because we don't have the hardware, or we don't have the software, or we don't have the energy sockets to charge our devices. There are so many things coming together. So what I would argue, we need a strategy on maybe national level or European level, and a strategy on district level, on school level, on subject or head subject group or class level. And what I would argue in such a strategy, we would think about what is very important for our education, what we want to sustain. What is what we're already doing and could do better or more efficient. And what are we not doing? But we see a big potential by looking across the countries, across the region, across the school. And that is what I call innovation. And for innovation, it's actually the interplay of motivation, you said confidence or motivation, about station and resources. So I think some things have to come together. And then maybe it's about the questions, the right time, together as a jointly exercise, or do we just do it fragmentedly? Everyone does, or she does what he or she wants to do. So I think strategy could be a very important part in getting coherence, at least within a school. And that's why leadership plays an important role. The sense making, the benefit, the bias, the perspective about education with digitality. Let's agree on the aims and the means to reach these aims. So I would say we need strategies on various levels. Yeah, so that's one perspective.
Thank you
And I
very
work with 3 research groups in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. I was 18 years head of the University of Teacher Education, and I'm now the Chair of Excellence for Leadership, Quality Management, and Innovation. We do various projects, and actually, because you said that, I developed a group of principals and teachers, and they show in promising practice how they use in a critical way AI to improve their work in terms of quality, but also in terms of efficiency. And we see really great examples. really great examples.
Yeah, thank you very much, Stefan, and thank you as well for mentioning this strategy, because I do think as well that one thing that we can all agree is that there is a very noticeable gap between policy and practice, or the practice that is being, let's say, promoted by the policy, right? They're saying you have to implement AI, but then we're lacking the resources, we're lacking the training. So because we're in a very tight schedule today, we haven't had our coffee yet. I just wanted to launch one last question to all of you.
But just say strategy, not only on policy level, but even with me within a group, we 4 or 5 teachers, we need a strategy. I think it's really about agreeing on something together that it gets more coherent. That's what I wanted to say. Sorry
Yes,
for
sure.
adding this.
So actually,
Sorry.
Stefan, I will ask you first, and what is your one priority? Is it this one? Is it another one? What is your one priority that you will say now to all of our audience here in person and online for supporting the teachers with this competence and confidence for AI implementation at a more structured, in a more structured way?
I keep it short because I talked so long. I would say really strategy, agreeing on something. What are our aims? What are our next practices within our group? Or so it is leadership with collaboration, or it's collaboration with leadership. So both needs each other, and then focusing on AI. I think it was Jose or Matthew who said, kids are using AI anyway. You know, we cannot say we want to keep it out. It is more the way of an intelligent integration, not being blind without the bias, being smart to use it for education purposes. And there are so wonderful examples. My best format at the moment is learning with and for colleagues. So it's from practice for practice. So we show promising practice examples, and then they get inspired. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you very much, Stefan. Can I ask the same question to Matthew then? What would be your one takeaway, your one advice?
Yes, apart from agreeing with Stefan and also with Jose Luis, obviously about strategy, and you're asking this question from a formal way. I think from a practical point of view, my one thing to go off, especially teachers who are fear of the unknown, they're fearing the loss of control. They're not sure about students misusing AI. What are the technical barriers, and if I have enough time because of the exams, and so on and so forth. I think one thing student educators, teachers need to take, even people in the audience, is to start small. Use AI for simple tasks like summarizing an article and getting the students on your side. Try it out in class using the tool right there. I literally, in my class this morning, I refuse students without a laptop or a tablet. They need to bring a device. We're past the period where people wait for education to come to them. You need to go to the knowledge at this point. You know, as educators, we need to retrain ourselves, upskill ourselves. We need to seek the training. We need to seek support. So I agree with strategy, but as an individual educator, I would seek my own training, plenty of knowledge out there. I will start small, and my mindset should be as a facilitator. I'm still a teacher, I know, educator, but I do not know everything. I'm focusing on how I guide my students in using AI responsibly, how to best use it in an academical, integral way, and obviously experiment without any pressure at this point. Even teach without any pressure, because the knowledge is so immense out there. We need to do it together at this point, even in class.
Yes, thank you very much, Matthew. Can I ask the same question now to Jose Luis?
Of course, I will also be brief due to timeline. And just to add, I agree with you too. And just to add a little bit more, maybe start small, baby steps, but in parallel ways. I mean, we need a strategy, but I think we need the strategies in plural, going from bottom to top and going from top to bottom to policies. So we cannot stop and we cannot wait because this is moving too fast. So smaller steps in the class, smaller steps from an institutional point of view, smaller steps from the use of the students, but all of them at the same time.
we are using anyway. Adults, children, teachers, everybody, ourselves. It just need to be structured in a structured way. How we use it, what are the ethical concerns, and how are we prepared? How are we ready to face the challenges that how the AI will transform? Because we will be ready for this AI that we know now, but the changes are coming so quick. So yeah, thank you.
Well, when I listen to you, it's very interesting because it structure what a lot of things I thought already, and I just would like to add that if we want to go further, I think we need first a vision, strategy, a chart of artificial intelligence can be very useful to make teachers more confident in this kind of tools. And then lifelong learning for teachers and everyone who work in the pedagogical area. It is what I think today. And I think anyway, it's not new, but it's maybe much more important today to work on this. And it's really important to go ahead and think about what is our role as a school or as a teacher. So that's why it's important to share experiences like today and belong to organizations. It's very interesting also because alone it's difficult to represent what we can do and imagine the future of our schools. Anyway, it's online or not online, it's the same problem. So this is what I think today, and thank you for sharing.
Thank you very much. And thank you to all of our speakers, both online and in person. I think it was very suiting for this AI conversation, right? To have a hybrid panel. We thank our audience online as well, which, sorry, we haven't really had time for a Q&A. People were shooting questions on the Slido, so we will make sure to follow up on that. And then just wanted to mention that there are I think still 30 webinars to come in this month of March as part of the European Education Month. So be free to go to the ELNE website, check them out, and sign up for those that you feel more, that you find more interesting. And this webinar has been recorded and will be uploaded as well to the ELNE website in the future months. So again, round of applause for our speakers, both online and in person.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Could we also have a coffee now, please?
Yes, and we go to have our
A
coffee. I
proper
hope
free
all of you
coffee.
will have your, yes, perfect. Thank you again and have a good rest of your day.
Take
Have a
care,
nice
all
day.
of
Thank
you.
you very much.
Bye-bye.